Another episode of the Garment Decorators podcast. Hello.
Hi, Molly.
How are you?
Helpful, educational.
Research the heat press.
The best podcast conversations we have had.
My business called Jon and Design.
With Matt from Print Pro UK.
It's nice to be here.
I have loved this episode. If you're a garment decorator, welcome to the crew. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Garment Decorators podcast. Today I'm joined by Jon and Gemma from Gemz Threadz, who I've wanted to have on the podcast for a very long time. We finally managed to get a day in the diary to sit down and do it. So hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you.
All good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, very excited to have you here. Yeah, you've got a lot going on. Life, business, everything's evolving, everything's changing at the moment. So we're going to dive into all of that. But before we do, can you give all the listeners a bit of an introduction to who you guys are and what your business is?
Yeah, so we were a married couple, 2 kids, and then obviously Jim decided to start a business.
But it wasn't a business, it was a hobby, wasn't it?
Well,
okay.
Yeah, so I bought a blanket for my friend's little girl, and I was like looking at it thinking, oh, I could do that. Looks quite simple. And then, so when my little boy went to preschool, we had a running joke throughout the year because their uniform had been delayed, and literally every month or so, I'd be like, uniform here yet? And she'd go, no, not yet. And on the last day, I said the same thing to her. I said, is a uniform here? And she was like, no, but if you do know of anybody, let me know. And then I went home and I was like, I could do that. And then that's how it started. We just went and bought a machine. John drove up to Newcastle.
She said, I want to do embroidery, and I didn't know what embroidery was.
Good start, great start,
It was a great start. And then she said, there's a machine in Newcastle. Well, I was heading up to Stoke anyway, so I said, I'll go.
That's a round trip. You can just pop up.
Is it in that area?
Yeah. So
Another 3-4 hours on top.
Went up there and, got this machine. Managed to get in the car because it was an absolute beast.
Yeah.
And, drove.
It was meant to be a hobby to start with, and then it escalated from there, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose it's sort of, I've always been interested in businesses and having my own business and stuff, and I never thought, obviously, embroidery and printing would be something that I would get into.
No, because you're qualified PT, right?
Yeah,
you had
so
that as a business
I had a PT
before.
business, so I converted my garage into a personal training studio.
Okay.
And then moved into the side of training personal trainers.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was, and digital marketing as well. So when COVID hit, I moved into more digital marketing, like social media management, building websites for clients because everyone wanted to be online. So that's the direction I was going. And then obviously you was doing your embroidery on the side.
Corner of the garage. And then slowly but surely, his stuff got less and less.
You just pushed him out.
He's like, I'm going to have to start, literally did. Yeah,
I'm left with one kettlebell, I think.
Yeah,
You've got to take that with you to the new unit.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of a memory from where it started. So it sounds like you're quite adaptable to not just business, but the way life changes as well.
Yeah, I've always looked at things and like to take risks in terms of looking at the bigger picture of things. And it did probably come when I first sort of got involved in the business and I was asked to do some football kits. And then we had a little £200 heat press that you do when you get started.
Everyone has to start out.
About 120 off of eBay.
Yeah, and it was one of them that 7-in-1s. So I'd done everything and stuff like that.
It did everything and nothing at the same time.
Exactly that.
Yeah, and we had quite an influx of football kits because our boy plays football. And when they obviously knew we're starting sort of a business and getting into the printing, even though obviously it started embroidery, and I thought I'll do a couple of kits.
Yeah, my friend asked me to put his son's initials on, I think it was a jacket, and I come home and I was like, what do I do with this? I wasn't really doing printing. I was just I did have the vinyl, but I was more embroidery side. So I said, you do that. And then that was it. That's how
I feel like that's how you learn though, right? With stuff like this. It isn't a case of let's go on a training plan and learn how to do this. It kind of just naturally comes and you're like, we'll figure that out as we go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm thrown in at the deep end.
Yeah.
And I've not got patience. So when she said, you've got to weed this, and you've got to go, what's weeding?
You're like, give me the transfers, please.
Exactly.
I have no interest in vinyl.
And at that point, we didn't.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like,
Didn't
got this
notice
little
the
tool out and you had to take these little bits and pieces. I was thinking,
I love the finish of vinyl. I hate the process.
Me too.
I hate
I don't
it.
mind weeding when I've got time and it's easy-ish
The
to
bigger
do.
things are-
Yeah, the bigger things are fine. It's the small,
It's the small,
and
it's the detail, yeah.
It's the glitter. I just done a glitter lever's top. Oh my goodness. And I will never ever do it again because we've said that we're not
It takes
selling
too long,
them.
doesn't it? Yeah, but
I've done
the
it for my
finish
knee.
on it.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful. I loved it.
As one-off, so it's doable, isn't it?
Exactly.
If you,
So I've done my niece, and then her little friend was messaged me from school, and she was like, "You done Harriet's top? Can you do mine?" And I was like, "Okay, but that is it." And then we've done Mia's, so we've done 3.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was like
Soon you'll be like, we've done 30 and that is it.
If someone asks us like that's close by, then yeah, like
Yeah, well, that's
family
the
or
perk of having a
friends.
business like that. You can do
Exactly.
people
Pick and
favours,
choose,
can't you? Yeah, but
Yeah.
to make it profitable and actually make
Yeah.
money on
wouldn't be-
it, you
wouldn't be,
can't.
no.
I think if they had glitter transfers
Yeah.
already done and dusted, then
Yeah,
it'd
well,
be
you can get
perfect.
shimmer. It's kind of
I was going to
same
say,
thing.
yeah, there's got to be something.
It's not
coming
quite
out of
as
it. No.
effective, but it does look a lot
Yeah.
more dynamic
Yeah.
than
Than
the flame
standard,
plain
yeah.
flat white.
Yeah.
So how has your business evolved since the early days of starting out?
So it's
Yeah.
gone from embroidering towels, blankets, baby, what else? Blankets. Dressing gowns.
Okay.
To
Quite home comfort then. That was where you started.
Like,
okay.
that's where we started with the baby
where you
stuff.
originally
That's where
started.
I thought there
That's
was
like
a
your
gap in the
hobby.
market. Yeah, but I thought it'd be a small business, you
Mm.
know. And then it's gone to workwear and football kits. So that's the direction it's gone from that. But I
Yeah.
also do want to do both.
There's a lot of customers in that
Yeah.
area as
Oh,
well,
God,
isn't
yeah,
there?
definitely.
And then sort of Amazon come along. So we've done quite a few projects for Amazon and the influencers. So we had quite a few big orders from them. And then, yeah, slowly but surely it was working with sportswear, football clubs mainly. Then give us all of their kits and then all of their winter wear as well, like coats and beanies and stuff. So it's sort of an all year round. But now we sort of want to target workwear as well.
Hence why you came to workwear, reimagine.
Yes,
Exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We like all the free stuff as well.
Oh, yeah,
That goes
100%.
down a
Free-
tree.
The goodie
Freebies.
bags are great. Goodie bags are
Freebies
great.
help, so that's all good.
Got a whole rail.
Yeah,
Samples, yeah.
exactly. So yeah, and then now obviously we'll get to the unit and yeah, take it really big in terms of tender for workwear as well.
So what's made you go from, so you ran your original business from your garage in your house, which you've now sold, well, in the process of selling
Yeah.
that house,
Yeah.
to
We've sold
move,
it,
and
technically,
yeah,
but
technically
we
sold, haven't moved yet.
Yeah.
And now you've secured lease on a unit, which is bigger, a bit more
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
What made you make that decision?
We just
to-
outgrew the garage.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
obviously work-life balance of what we were saying before about
Yeah.
having the children at home and working. I want to turn off from work and, you know, go to
Yeah.
work and come home. It's been nice working from home and having that going into the garage as and when I want to do an hour here, there.
I suppose it's been easy for you as well because your little girl's, what, 2,
Yeah,
you say?
she's
So in the
just turned 2,
first
yeah.
years of her life, it was probably a lot
We-
easier to be at home.
Exactly. But now it's getting to the point where she needs to go out and do stuff. She's not happy just being at home all day, every day.
In a bouncer in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Because when they're babies, that's what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, she needs a bit more stimulation now. So I think us going to the unit and doing our set hours as and when we want, but having set hours and going home, then I'm at home and then I'm mum, you know. So
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of having your own business. Obviously, you can dictate when you work and where you work. But as we're obviously growing, it's like for any business owner, it's not a 9 to 5.
You don't always have that luxury, do you?
No,
people say that,
no.
like, oh, I can choose my hours,
Yeah,
but like there are certain hours you
More
have
hours.
to do, and
Yeah,
you kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
never
of
really
course.
switch
Yeah.
off, do you?
On the face of it, like I'd describe it as like an iceberg. So everyone sees the
Yeah,
top
that's
of
a
it.
really good way of putting it.
he's got
and
an iceberg in his office.
Yeah,
yeah,
like- yeah,
he's
I've got
literally
quite
got,
a-
what is it? Success.
Success
And
at
then
the top and
underneath-
what people
Oh, I've
see.
seen that
He's got
graphic.
loads
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And it's the
It's
late
so true,
night.
though.
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
we've worked till
Yeah.
5 in the morning.
I've
some
done a
projects.
couple of 5 a.m.ers with Amazon, and he's literally coffee at 2 a.m, 3 a.m. And I'm actually not getting his coffees back.
Yeah, it's
because
tough,
we've had
but
a
that's what you've
deadline
got to
to
do.
get done,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what people don't see when you're building a business.
No.
They see the overnight success, if you were,
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
nothing to
Yeah.
successful print business, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
but you look at everything that you've done in between,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And this has been 5 years in the making. You know, from when
Yeah.
I first bought, it was August
Yeah, so
2020. So we've
5-year
just gone out of
anniversary is the
lockdown
start,
then.
Yeah.
start of August.
Mm.
Um,
And that was when we that was when we started. And then it started getting serious, I think, probably after about 2 years.
So did you run it alongside your existing jobs and lives for a couple of years?
I was on
then...
maternity.
Okay, so you literally just have done this full time since.
After Carter. So when he went to school, that was when I was like, right, I need to obviously start working again. But I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5 because obviously with school runs and it just don't work.
No,
unless you work in a school or them hours, and then you've got the half terms where they give, I think, 12 weeks in a year off. And you only get 4 weeks holiday. How is that meant to work, you know? So we definitely knew that we wanted to do something for ourselves. Jon had his training provider, but he was working full time then, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I was consulting for companies on the digital marketing, so I was pretty much there all the time, and then coming back, and then obviously helping Gemma out with the business, running another business alongside, which I still do now, but obviously a lot of it is taken up with the printing.
It's nice to still have that passion project though, isn't it?
Yeah. I quite like, I don't know, the more things that I take on, I perform better. I don't know why. It's just more punishment and pressure.
You're more mentally stimulated though, aren't you? I find that with different like projects I work on here. I can't just do one thing. I have to have 3 or 4 things in the pipeline, because you do something and you're like, oh, I'm a bit, not bored of it, but like I need a break, I need to focus on something else for a while.
Exactly, yeah. I've got like 3 or 4 jobs on, so if I'm like, I don't want to do that no more.
Yeah,
I'll do this
exactly. And then the next day you're like, no, I want to do that now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And it's just, I like having sort of multiple sources of income.
It's freedom and flexibility.
With COVID, obviously, a lot of people lost their jobs and stuff like that, and then obviously had to be forced to start businesses and different things. But I like obviously if the printing and the embroidery is a little bit slow, at least my training provider can sort of keep us going, because that's busy. So it's sort of having multiple.
Be interested to know the stats on how many businesses started after COVID, because
there are quite a few, because I started here in July 2020, so mid-COVID. Wow. There was still a lot of people in this building.
We was allowed out.
So literally there were quite a few staff members here that were still working from home.
Oh, really?
So I started in a really like quiet, like dead man office, compared to what it is now, which is pure chaos, which is lovely. But so I remember starting and we were busy. Like we were really busy, because I think a lot of people were at home, they had furlough money, they were like, I don't really want to go back to work, I quite like this. And so there was definitely a bit of a boom in business during and after COVID for printing. But it's the ones that have stuck it out that are now successful. I think there probably are quite a few that started and then after 6 months to a year thought, I'll go back to work, or I'll do a hobby, or not every business that starts is going to make it long term, but there was a decent chunk that did. So what are some of the key milestones in your business? So are there moments that you look back on and you sort of go, oh, that was like a real core memory for us in the business?
I'd definitely say our first Amazon order was pretty cool, isn't it?
How did that come about?
So I've got a friend that works for Amazon UK in London, and she was like, I'm doing this project, or no, an event, wasn't it? Yeah, she works with influencers and stuff, doing content, and she just phoned me and was like, I need this, this and this, and I was like, okay. And we was pretty new, wasn't we? It wasn't like, it's been a few years that we've been doing it for Amazon. So obviously we was quite new, and it was a bit scary, because I was like, this is a big customer, and it could lead to bigger things as well. So that first one was definitely more.
Well, I think with the Amazon order, it's quite big. I think it was it about 70 tops or something like that?
It was 110 items. And that was the 5 a.m. And I remember handing the stuff over to her at like silly.
Well, I took it there, didn't I?
No, the one where she come and picked it up. I'd had a couple of hours sleep, but I still looked like death. And I just handed it over, and I was like, I'm going to bed now.
And then I sort of see the bigger picture. I think, right, if we could get in with Amazon, it could lead to different things and stuff like that. So we sort of
contracts or whatever.
Like all of our clients, we go above and beyond. I think that's the success that we're having is the customer service side of things. We're always keeping people up to date with their orders. We're always providing sort of mock-ups and doing what we can for customers. Whereas I think a lot of companies, as they grow, they sort of lose that aspect.
They lose
exactly. And I think that's what we need to carry on doing. And when we do eventually get staff, that be embodied into the culture. But I remember the Amazon order, I think it is. They had the event on the Wednesday or the Thursday. I think we completed it on the Monday or the Tuesday. And
After only giving us like 4 or 5 days to sort
That's about standard, isn't it? Yeah.
She phoned me recently. What was it, Sunday night? And she went, I'm going to New York on Wednesday. What can you do? And I was like, I can't do anything.
You're like minimum
But
5 days.
Yeah, exactly. But she could, if I could have done it, and I would have worked through the night, but she couldn't get all the creative signed off or the artwork before she went. So it was a no-go. But she was like, thank you for trying, because I would have done it. But yeah.
And their studio was in Hackney. So I was like, well, we've done all of this embroidery. I'm not chancing it to the courier company to get it out.
Yeah.
So I literally drove it all the way to Hackney, I think 6 o'clock in the morning, made sure it was there. But I think little things like that is what separates you from other people, going above and
it's
beyond.
the extra touch, and someone goes, they really made an effort, I'm using them again, rather than, like you say, it being delayed and you going, oh, sorry, I'll call DPD, and then they're like, oh, I won't use you again.
We've lost it or whatever.
Yeah, because we have that problem here sometimes. Like stuff gets, once it's left us at Styles here, it's in the hands of the couriers, and like we can't hand deliver everything that goes out of this building. But sometimes if there is a delay with the courier, or they try and deliver, someone's not in, and all of that, like it's not our fault, but we're the ones that get the phone call, and then we're like, I'm really sorry, but there's not really a lot we can do about the courier company, and that's such a challenge when you are running a business, because it is your reputation. And I always feel like when we get people phone up, you feel so bad, but you're like, once it leaves us, there's physically nothing we can do,
especially like personalised or custom stuff, like
for events,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not just giving a top. Oh yeah, we're resending the top and stuff like that. So you've got to get the prints back in. You've also got to get the stock in and do it.
And obviously
a lot of money as well.
Sometimes is just not doable.
Yeah.
We just done last minute. So my friend runs a sound bath company, and she's just been asked to film for Towie this morning.
Okay.
So literally, what was it, yesterday, the night before, she phoned me and she was like, I need 2 tops. Can you do it? Da-da-da. So I was like, okay. So we got it all done, and she come and picked them up late last night. That was lastminute.com as well, wasn't it?
I feel like a lot of that stuff happens quite a lot though, and it's having the ability to be able to do things and be flexible. But if you know it's going to be 50, 100, 200 pieces, there's minimums on that. Like you can't just knock that out in 5 days.
No.
Yeah, I think
we could if we have a unit.
You will be able to in a few months.
I think when you first start out, you sort of say yes to absolutely everything, because you're like, right, build up. Now we're getting to the stage where we're sort of not picking and choosing jobs.
No, but you have the ability to do that, which is such a luxury. And you say yes to the smaller jobs because they're friends and you want to help them out, but your minimum order quantities are there for a reason, because as a business you can't make profit on every single little thing. There's businesses out there that do one-offs all the time, and it's profitable for them, and that's fine, but it isn't a money maker for everyone.
Definitely not.
No, and we've got
so time consuming.
Yeah, and we've got big ambitions, haven't we? As well.
You need to prioritise your time. There's only 2 of you.
Exactly. And that's why we're sort of looking at staff now and stuff, but we'll only take on. Well, I'll tell you, we take on like experienced staff, and ideally we want to take on staff that know more than us. Because then they can
hire people that know more than you.
And then we can step back into sort of working on the business instead of in it. Because at the moment we're getting all the work in, and we're doing it ourselves as well.
A lot.
As I suppose, let's take a step back. Let's do the business development side and go out to.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, and get people get the work in. And then obviously you've got a good team.
Delegate it out.
Well, you joke, but that is what you have to do, isn't it? You have to hire people that are better at what they do than if you were to do it to run those jobs effectively. Yeah. So while we're on that topic then, you've had your business for around 5 years now. What have you learned over those 5 years that you might give other people advice on if they're starting out or thinking about getting into printing?
Don't go into business with your husband.
Oh, really? This is going to take an interesting turn, isn't it? Couples counselling, anyone?
We get on quite well. We do bicker sometimes.
I think any business partners would, though.
But I can be a little bit more laid back, where he's like, come on, go. He's a bit...
Yeah, you're more chilled out. I'm more like, I forget orders coming. I'll get on. I've got a project management board that all comes in, and I'm like, right, it's on that board. This is what the embroidery you need to do. This is the printing I need to do. This is the date it needs to go out. So I'm like, right,
but if you didn't have that
way, and he does things his way, and they don't always align. I do get where he's coming from, but I still don't work like that. So it's like we just have to.
I think as long as stuff goes out the door on time.
Exactly. That is my point. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But then you don't have to.
However, you're talking to the person that's queen of colour-coded spreadsheets, so I also very much understand where you're coming from.
I'm very organised, but I'm organised in my own way. Whereas I love a pad and a pen, he likes a
But then you don't
spreadsheet.
need to work 5 o'clock in the morning where it could have been done at 11 o'clock.
Oh no, this is
Listen,
going to take a
that-
very
that definitely wouldn't have.
So,
No, that
So what?
wouldn't
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
other than don't go into business with your other half, what would you advise other people to do if they're going into the print industry?
don't put vinyl on vinyl.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a
Good
to know.
different. That's a
Yeah.
lesson learned because I remember doing a football kit, and we were sort of tight on times, and it's probably that everyone's going to make mistakes as they go along as well, and
But
that's
you learn from them.
and that's the thing is learn from mistakes, and you're always going to come against challenges, especially in the printing and embroidery business. So I had this is in the early days, a cheap heat press, which we ain't got now, which we'll come on to. Put vinyl on, it's a sponsor logo, and there's a little sort of like tear in the side, and I thought, I'll just put another. When I order vinyl, I always order extra just in case. So I thought, I'll put another vinyl on it, covered it, looked great and stuff like that for the photos and everything. And then, it come back, I think after they washed it, come back that it peeled. And to be fair, out of the whole team, it was
Just
someone,
friends, wasn't
friends
it?
that we know, so it weren't too bad.
Lovely.
You're like, I'll just replace
Yeah,
it for
we'll
you.
just
then.
replace
Yes, and that's what we've done. We got a new top, ordered a new top. Got the
Should have
vinyl
done it
on
at the
now.
beginning, which is
Yeah,
now.
yeah. But that's the
Yeah.
lessons that you learn.
But you don't
Yeah.
know that at the time, do
No,
you?
exactly.
You think you
You
can
just
fix
think,
it.
yeah. Yeah, because why are you going to pay out for a new top if you don't need to? But
No,
yeah,
and
we know.
it's-
You're like
Yeah.
10p's worth of vinyl will fix that
Exactly,
mistake.
yeah.
Exactly. So don't double up on the vinyl. That's for sure. But yeah, for business owners, I think you got to be willing to put in the graft.
Yeah.
It's
Just
going to
keep
be hard,
going.
regardless whether you're a couple starting a business with kids or you're sort of like a solo entrepreneur. I don't think it's going to be a 9 to 5,
No.
but the rewards do come.
Yeah.
And
I've
you've got
literally
to
stood
think
there crying and wanting to throw the machine out the door. But again, that was in the early days, so persistence prevailed in the end because we got through it. And now, if anything like that happens, I know how to deal with it.
And if anything new comes up, you know that there is a solution. You just have to find it.
Yeah, you just need to find it. But yeah, just keep going, really.
So let's talk a little bit about your setup because as you just mentioned, you started off with a cheaper heat press. You've now got one of our Hottronics machines.
Two.
You've got two.
Two,
Sorry,
yes, yeah,
two. Sorry.
Yeah,
Apologies.
yes.
Two of our machines.
Yeah.
And you've got embroidery machines and you've got everything. So walk me through your current setup and what you're going to move into the new unit.
So with my embroidery machines, I've got two Brother PR 655 and a 650. They're 6 heads. But they're 6 needles, sorry. Single heads. All right. 6 needle single heads, that's it.
You're like, I'm not moving a 6-head into that unit.
But then we're looking to get a 6 or an 8 head because the production we need to put out is
more than a single head.
Yeah, the amount that we're doing and the orders that we've got coming in, and they're all the same design as well. So we'll be able to smash out, 6 or 8 in the same time as I'll be able to do one.
That's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
It's a no-brainer, absolutely.
And it'll probably pay for itself in a couple of jobs, won't it? Yeah,
100%. And we know that. So that's why. In the beginning, I was a bit like, no. Even with the second machine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm fine with one. And he was like, no, we need another one. I was like, no, really, it's fine, babe. But then now I'm like, oh, okay, the work's coming in. So we definitely need more. But I'm going to keep them two for just my little jobs. Whereas the bigger machine will be for the production.
Well, if you get one-offs come in for embroidery,
Exactly,
you can do that now.
Exactly,
whereas I suppose if you're running like the bigger machine, if you didn't have the bigger machine, you'd have to run all the bulk jobs through the two
and that's
singles.
What I'm doing
and
at
that's
the moment.
what's harder,
So I had a job for, 40-odd tops,
Tops,
Liam's ones, wasn't it? And it took me 3 days to do because they're quite a long... And if I had the oven machine a half a day, it would have been done.
Yeah.
So, you got to wait.
But that's just levelling up in business,
Yeah,
isn't it? Like it
exactly,
takes you a certain amount of time to get to a point where you can afford to buy those machines and it's worth buying those machines.
Yeah.
Not everyone can start off with a 6 or an 8 head. If they could, then you wouldn't have business progression, would you?
And that's the thing, I think, as you get the different levels, it's like, I look at it like a computer game, different levels, you've got a different boss to compete against. And that's what that was. And then obviously we'll have a 6, 8 head, then eventually, let's go and get 8 head. And double up because, and that's where we are now until we're moving to the unit, is that I've not gone out and got loads of work because I could go and poach loads of companies, but then it's going to be, there's got to be delays because I wait for someone else. I'd rather get the machine and invest in properly so then we can give a really good service.
Yeah, you almost want to wait until you've got a streamlined production system and then be like, right now we've got an extra 3 days a week, we can take more on. 100%.
Rather than being the other way around and not being able to fill the
well, you don't
orders.
want to delay, do you? Like you say, it's not.
That's what our reputation is based on, is a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And that's where you was like, that's where we're going to, you know.
It's like a USP sort of thing.
Yeah.
I see it with other companies. And
naming no names. There is a couple of companies within the football sector that the time frame's just ridiculous.
And the thing is, with your customers that you've got at the moment, they know you, they trust you, respect you. If they have any orders, you can be totally transparent with them and say,
100%.
Absolutely, but we're currently doing X, Y, Z, moving, etc. And they'll be like, fair enough, like good for you guys. But like you say, taking on more orders, like going out to sequel work to do that, like
don't know her.
You've got so much time to do that once you're settled in that new unit.
100%.
And first impressions, they last. We've got a lot of repeat customers, and in the 5 years we've not done any paid advertising or anything like that. And
it's word of mouth.
Stuff I want to do, it's been word of mouth. It's been.
Can imagine if you did put money into paid advertising.
Yeah,
that's when you need to start.
And that's the plan, because that is my background's digital marketing. So the Google ads and social media, like the Meta and Instagram and TikTok. And,
you know the audience is there.
Yeah, so I'm itching to go for it, and I don't. The unit that we're moving.
Few more months. Hold fire. You'll get there eventually.
I'll be let off the leash.
You will literally.
But the unit we're going into, and one of the reasons going in there is it's within a sort of business centre, and there's 35 companies in there, over 35 companies, and we're the only printing and embroidery company in there.
So 34 customers.
They'll get a knock on the door and leave there, that's for sure.
Well, that's what we were talking about with was it the localization business podcast we did ages ago? And Andy did a stat that was something along the lines of like how many businesses were within a mile of this building. And what you can do from the business on your front door. And that is enough to run a full-time business if you do it right and secure the job. So like you guys have got your current customers, future word of mouth, future paid advertising, and everyone in your building. Like that's crazy.
It's a no-brainer.
Did you ever think you'd get to this point when you started it as a hobby?
Absolutely not.
Do you feel like you've just blinked and been like, what the hell happened this year?
It's has escalated. We did say last year that 2025 we're really going to go for it.
Sounds like you have.
And and one of the reasons is obviously selling the house and to free up some money to invest in the business as well, which is obviously a bold move as well. But
sometimes you've got to do these things, haven't you?
Yes.
No successful people never took any risks.
No,
definitely not.
And if it was easy, everyone would do it.
That's the thing. And I feel like you've got to have a certain amount of gut to take a risk like that. Like not every person that runs a successful business has been like someone's either been in debt or taken a risk or 100%. Like failed at some point and started from scratch, or you're not saying that's what's going to happen with you guys, but you're taking a risk to level up the business and grow it. So I respect you for that. I really do. And I think it's going to pay off because you've done the groundwork.
100%. It's got to pay off. There's no option.
It has to.
And it will, But we're
you'll be living in the unit if it doesn't.
Exactly. It's really cheap.
It's big enough. Put a couple of bunk beds in the corner. It'll be fine.
Lovely. Loads of space.
They said 24/7 access, right? Does that count as for living, or is that not covered under the insurance? So that's your embroidery side of things. We're off on a bit of a tangent, but talk to me about your heat press setup. Obviously, Jon, you do most of the printing and your embroidery. Talk to me about your presses and how you find them.
So obviously the press that we had before, it was your little startup, £150, 7-in-1. Fucking, it didn't make me a cup of tea.
Was it red by any chance?
It was red, yes. Yep. Do you know, I think you know the one then. I think everyone starts off with that. And I was just getting, it was mad because I had that, and then I had a load of football kits coming, so I think I had about 30, 40 kits coming in. And it ain't got a timer on it or anything like that, so I was like, placing it, putting it in. There weren't no
1,
sort of
2, 3, 4.
I had my phone.
Oh no!
I had my phone and I was just doing the timer and stuff like that. And then sometimes you'd forget the timer or forget to put it on, and then you're guessing, what is that, 30 seconds or what?
So I baked it yet?
yeah, exactly. And then getting all the pressure right.
But it served the purpose for the time. It got you going.
It got us going. And then discovered obviously styles. And then I think Jem sent a link, or I think one of the tape presses, which is the Hoptronics Fusion IQ.
Very good.
Yeah, I think you tagged me in it, and I was like,
What, the one we've got now? The big
yeah, the one
boy?
we've got.
Oh, right, okay.
So I was like,
Oh, I did, yeah.
big
yeah,
boy.
yeah,
Was it my fault?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so
No one's fault. This is a good investment.
Just so we've got that.
yeah, so you tagged me in that, and I was like, that is a bit of me. So I'm like, it's got a
It's one
timer
of
on
them.
it, it's got
Yeah.
pressure, and I do love a gadget. So I
Same.
was like, right, yeah, all the timers, all the pressure, like 12 seconds to do a heat press. I'm like, yeah, that's a bit of me. And then obviously looked at the price. I thought, that's an investment. So yeah, we just worked up to it. And then we got that in, and that was a game changer.
Mm.
It really
So
was.
yeah, that is.
I didn't see it until it actually, because I was like, it's a lot of money
You've
for
used it as well.
print.
Won't let you use it.
No, I've
No.
literally not
Yeah,
used it.
Yeah, no,
But
no.
it was worth
They are
every
very
penny.
user friendly, you know.
Yeah,
No,
but
they
I
are.
think you have to go
He
through
won't let me.
You've got to go for a qualification.
Does
sort
he
of
use your
thing,
embroidery
qualify
machines
stuff.
though?
Not really.
No,
Just
there you
so
go.
you
You
told me
got your areas, stick to
Yeah,
your phones,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what we're
Minimise the
thinking.
arguments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With embroidery, I had to like
You know how to change a bobbin
And a bobbin
take
and stuff like that.
take
That's
a
more than
hoop
I know
off
how to do on an
Yeah.
embroidery
and take a
machine.
hoop off.
because what
that's
happens
it.
with the embroidery machines, when they get going, sometimes they stop because the bobbin needs to change.
Yeah.
And if Gem's in next door with the kids and I'm in the garage and I'm working, I
It's
sort
just
of keep going
quickly,
backwards
yeah.
and forwards and say,
Yeah.
right, can you restart
Yeah.
your machine? So I learned that bit of it, but yeah,
That's
all
it.
the places. That's it.
That's
So,
That's as far
so
as
when
it
you
goes.
say the first heat press and then the big boy heat press, what's your second investment? What did you
So
buy?
we've not bought it yet, which is the Pro Place.
Okay,
That
we're
is-
talking serious
To me,
business
that's
now.
that's the big boy. So that's.
So you've got two Fusion IQs at the moment,
No,
right?
so I've got one, and then
Okay.
I've got the 360.
Oh,
hat
of course,
press,
you've got the
yeah.
hat press.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everyone was going on about, do you do hats? And at the moment, until we get the embroidery machines,
Mm-hmm.
we
We
thought,
can't
right,
do embroidery, but we wanted to offer both.
yeah. So then especially when I see the silicone.
Yeah, embroidered
so,
patches
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
It's a lot
so
quicker than embroidering a hat.
We had an order for like 300 caps, and they wanted the silicone, and then we can obviously do the vinyl on there as well. So yeah, at least we can offer that side of things, and then within our all of our sort of tops and stuff, we want to start branding ourselves.
Yeah. Which you're
so
doing a
then
great job of, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I think you've got an embroidery tops as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
we're representing the print game on this side. So yeah, and then we can do obviously the printed labels in there.
Yeah.
Because what I think happens is that people order and then they forget about it for a while and like, oh, where did I get them tops from and stuff like that.
You
But
need
if
to
you've
be
got your own
branding.
branding
Yeah.
in the label. I look at the label, Gemz Threadz, there we go.
Yeah,
Go back to
exactly.
them.
So with the 360 hat press then, you said the first order you had for it was 300 hats. So you pretty much paid for the hat
Basically.
and made profit
Pretty much,
with the
yeah.
first job you
Yeah.
had from it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and
That's why
to
you
be
can
fair,
get-
we
yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have that at the time, and I was thinking, wow, because the
I feel
order,
like I want a new gadget.
the order,
Yeah,
the order come
basically.
before the
He'd
hat
had
press.
that for a month.
Yeah. So yeah, the order come before that, and because I was working with this company, and they said, well, we want 300 hats to give out throughout the year. We didn't even have a hat press. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we'll take on the order. Worked everything out, worked out the costings of the machine. I think, yeah, we can do it. So we had the order come in, didn't have the cat press yet. Then when we got cat press, I literally, I drove all the way out to obviously here to get the Fusion IQ, but I had that one delivered because I'm impatient.
I mean, well, Nate said you literally can get the order on a
Yes.
Monday, get
Yeah.
the press delivered on
Yeah.
Tuesday, start printing on
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
Yeah,
quick.
so we,
so easy.
yeah, started with that, and I was obviously testing it out, and yeah, we've got a few caps out now, and then we're going to start pressing it. And then so I think that's going to be a big focus for us because we want to start doing events, and caps go down well.
Yeah.
And also
Okay.
what we were talking about, you want to do workwear as well with
Yeah.
the lower heat on the 360. We were saying this to the other guest that we had on the podcast yesterday. He's got an autoclam and has just bought a 360 IQ. So
okay.
very similar setup
Yeah.
to you. And he was saying the same thing about all the different jackets and stuff he
Yeah.
can print with the lower heat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a smaller
Yeah.
design, but
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 it's
They
left
are,
chest
yeah.
anyway.
Exactly.
You can print so many more different garments
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
press because of the lower heat element to it.
Yeah, and it helps with the scorch marks and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Especially on black and stuff. So yeah, it's getting that balance right. But
Double
yeah,
investment,
so-
really. Hats and
Exactly.
difficulty
Exactly. So
fabrics. Yeah.
them two machines they've sort of changed the game for us.
Yeah, and
really.
paid for themselves pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And they look good as well, don't
So now
they?
we've got
They
more
are pretty,
space.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are good.
But then next is the
the
big
Pro
one.
Place,
Yeah.
I'd like to get the Pro Place.
Yeah,
so
that will look good in your unit.
It will.
yeah, every time I see that, and I'm like,
Your poor Fusion's going to be made redundant when you
I
get
know,
that.
right? We'll just have to get someone else in to use that.
To get the apprentice can use that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's a really good press for,
Perfect.
I know,
for an
right?
apprentice to
Yeah.
use,
Yeah.
isn't it?
No, definitely.
100%.
And it
Or
look,
give it to Cart to to do his designs on.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
As soon as he sees it, he was like, "Oh, can I stop pressing?
So let's touch on that while we're on that topic. So your son is how old?
9.
Just turned 9.
He's already kind of involved in the business and kind of brought out his own clothing line already at 9 years old, which is crazy. Yeah. Tell me about that.
A few designs.
Yeah, we're sort of teaching him early doors. So when we retire, he can take over the business and we can just relax. But no, for me, I'm sort of like, I want to teach him entrepreneurship and stuff that schools don't teach kids, some life skills and profit and margin. So
he already knows about that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Buy it for this, we add our profit on, and then we sell it for that.
Yeah, the stuff that you need to know.
Yeah, exactly. And going through the whole ordering process and sort of ordering from suppliers, getting it in, ordering obviously the vinyl and the printing and that whole process. So so he's into gaming. Most 9-year-olds are gaming football, so Fortnite. So I had a chat with him and said, "Do you want to sort of start your own range and we can launch it on our social media? It can be on our website and then obviously you can do some YouTube content and stuff." And he was buzzing for that. So I thought, let's show him absolutely everything, like I say, from start to finish. And it's stuff that schools don't teach, and it's stuff that he's got an option in. He's got an option that if he wants to start his own business, he's sort of well equipped and he knows them things, and the mistakes that we made when we was younger, sort of he can learn from them. And then really run with it. So he bought a hoodie range, t-shirt range, jumpers, and now what he's doing, he's got his book and he draws designs, and then he will go on ChatGPT and he will basically just bring them designs to life. He's very sort
That's
of
really
ahead.
cool that you can do that with him as well. Like, not only teach him the business side of it, but it's almost like a bit of a hobby for him, but something he can make money from as well, which is a great life skill to
we
learn.
went into school with his pad, didn't he? And he took it and he was like, "I've got an order, Mum."
Oh, bless him. That's so
and then
good.
The child's mum messaged me and was like, "Apparently I've ordered a top."
My son has bought something off your son over lunch.
Literally. So and then we give him the profits, didn't we?
Yeah, I think he made for his first sort of couple of weeks, he made like £40. And he was
for a 9-year-old? Like, that's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. And it wasn't
That's
just
excellent.
orders that he got from just selling it in school to his mates. We've got orders that he's never met before.
Random people, wasn't it, off the website?
Yeah. So it's there's other ideas in the camp, and it's important for me as well I don't want his childhood growing up thinking, "Oh, Mum and Dad was always working all the time" and stuff like that. So, which we obviously take them on a lot of days out and stuff like that. But when we are with the business and we're in the garage, and he's so excited, we've got this new unit now as well.
Yeah, he come yesterday to see it, and he was like, "Oh, I can't wait."
I think it's how you phrase it to them, isn't it? Because if you say, like, "Don't talk to Mum and Dad, they're at work," sort of shut them out, then that's, "Oh, Mum and Dad aren't around, they're working 24/7. Whereas if you bring them along with it, it's a family business at the end of the day. And if you enjoy what you're doing, it's not necessarily work as such. All right, it is on some days, like no day's perfect. But if you bring them in, you include them, like the way that they perceive that and their memories from it as they grow up is so different. So I think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. And then I'll do the same with Jazz when she's older and she wants to do sort of her little range and stuff like that. And
with the glitter. She'll be on the glitter, right?
Okay. Definitely. You should have
clear vinyl though, please.
You'll be like, "You can be the apprentice and do the weeding."
Yeah, you sit and do the weeding and then tell me you want to do it. You never know.
But it's just giving them options. Like, he might say, "Oh, I don't even want to do the business," or
but even if he does it for 5 years while he's at school and then he decides it's what he doesn't want to do, like he's got experience, he's learned things that kids his age won't have learned, and I think that's so important rather than just like, "Mum and Dad are at work, don't bother them," kind of thing. That's so good. So talk to me a little bit about the levers jobs that you've done, because I really wanted to come down and do some reporting when you guys were printing it, but you did intra transfers, right? Your latest levers job. Talk to me about that.
Game changers, to be fair. Hot Pill as well. He's so we obviously got into the exactly. So I don't like waiting for it to cool down. I'm like, right, pay it, go again. So we obviously looked at the levers market and thought, wow, it's something we want to get involved in. And what we find, there's a common theme that people who are in charge of the levers were like, it's just an absolute pain because they've got to chase money for parents, and there's 2 tops, can we order that there? 2 tops, can we order at that time? So I thought, how can we sort of streamline this process? So we started creating sort of school shops.
Yeah.
Where I'd send all the mock-ups and different colours to the person who was organising it. They'd obviously put in their WhatsApp groups, got approval. And then eventually we would have a club shop that all the parents can go onto. They can order it. We do all the production, do all the deliveries and everything like that. And they'd have like a time frame and deadline to order it all. And then once that's done, we know what numbers we got. We know what prints we need to order. So then obviously we had a conversation way before about Inktra. So we had the good thing is we had some credits from buying the cat press.
Always buy a bundle when you buy a heat press.
All about bundles and utilise them. So
it's not just a sales tactic, it is very profitable.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's probably why I want to buy another heat press to get some transfer credits.
Oh my God, the transfer credit on the Pro Place
a lot,
is so much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still shocked that they actually approve that from finance. Like, I don't know how they get away with it.
Well, hopefully they keep that when we get around to...
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I'm
sure they will. You can just leverage that you were podcast guests
exactly,
and be like, excuse me.
This time,
we were promised on camera.
Yeah. If anyone, right, so just for future note, if these two buy a Pro Place, they get the credit, okay?
Absolutely.
Molly said so.
Molly said so, yeah.
So, yeah, with the ink trial, we sort of, worked out the sizing. And I think we ordered it, and within 2 or 3 days it was there. We had all of the hoodies and the T-shirts there, and it was literally, I think it was 12 seconds, 15 seconds on the Fusion, done, peel it off, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I think within a couple of hours we'd done 140 tops.
Yeah,
because we had T-shirts as well, and then we delivered that, and so Inktra is the one going forward with all the other stuff and other jobs really as well.
I love that. That's brilliant. What's your favourite thing to heat print? I know we'll ask you what your favourite thing to embroider is as well in a minute, but obviously different things.
Exactly. I think for me, football kits.
Okay, that's interesting.
The real bit is polyester. A lot of it is hot peel.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm impatient, so I don't like waiting for things to cool down. So I like football kits, like the squad numbers and all obviously the sponsorship logos and the badges on the front. Literally, sort of size them all up, put them under, and then hot peel, move on to the next one. So I think for me, football kits and sort of polyester. It's obviously a challenge sometimes when you're working with sort of black football kits and tops, because you've got to obviously adjust the pressure and the
scorching,
heat,
all
so
that
don't want no scorching because it don't look good on social media posts.
Said no.
Stuff
What's your
like
favourite thing to heat print? Polyester. Said no one ever. Like that's the first time that we've had that as an answer. Yeah. Everyone's like cotton t-shirts and hoodies.
Yeah, I would say
cotton t-shirts are good in terms of like different colours and stuff like that. But then you have to wait for the cold peel. But for me, for ease of
you can put hot peel on cotton garments.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's about no more transfer to use, John.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes. So there was always learning to
you don't need to use cold peels anymore. Not with the amount of different transfers that we have on offer now.
There's so many.
Is it different for embroidery? So obviously, what do you prefer?
Not really. I like doing the like the kids stuff, like the birthday stuff, because it's going to like for a favourite day or whatever, and it's
like
going to be a memory.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like doing the baby blankets with the date and the weight and everything like that, because they're going to keep it forever, possibly in like a memory box or something, and it's one of the first things they have as a baby.
How much of that do you still do in your business?
Not a lot at the moment.
Okay, because that was
no, he has me working on other stuff, which is why we want to get the other machines, so then I can chuck the machines on, they can be running in the background, then I can do, because I like designing and creating and stuff, so
you can do your baby items on the single heads and
then but when we get time and possibly some stuff.
Well, once we've got
it'll
the
happen
staff
eventually.
Yeah, you can sort of concentrate on the other little bits and pieces. But
some stuff as well.
Yeah, Christmas is good. What kind of stuff do you do for Christmas?
Pyjamas mainly.
Oh, okay.
Again, dressing gown, like little
personalised for families.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Pillars, they're all the stuff that I want to do. Like Santa visit me and that sort of stuff.
You can almost run that as a separate, like under a separate business name, can't you? Because fulfillment versus that is very different.
Yeah. Yeah, the ideas are endless. We just need more time, basically.
That's the thing with printing and embroidery, though. There is no ceiling. I was saying this yesterday. Like, if you've got the knowledge and the ability to figure it out, you can pretty much print onto anything with the right technique.
And you just figure out what's trending and what's what's hot right now.
Well, that's the thing.
That's why
I remember
we're lucky we've got a 9-year-old because he knows what's going on.
And then when your 2-year-old grows up, she'll keep you in the loop as well. You've got very good investment there.
Yeah.
Good business strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
In another few years, have another one, and then she'll keep you going as well.
Two and done. Yeah, we've got one of each, and
to be fair, that's quite a good. Lucky. Yeah. So, what's been your biggest challenge since starting your business?
Having the baby in the middle of it. So, being pregnant, I worked all through. Whereas with Car, I took maternity, and then I was off for 4 years. But with her, I worked up until I was fully ready to pop, and then pretty much weeks after. And
so you really have a break.
Yeah, it was hard, but we got through it, didn't we? I was ready for to go to school now. Well, I say school, childminder, a couple of days a week, so we can actually work. But I'd definitely say learning from scratch and not having anything to go by, because with my side of it, the embroidery, there's no courses or anything out there. It was all YouTube videos and self-taught.
Which is still great. It's still a great tool, but it is all self-learning, isn't it?
Yeah, and you don't know what you need to learn, if that makes sense.
Well, kind of everything, don't you? Initially, you're like, how do you filter it down?
I'll join these groups and people are like, oh, you need to buy this and buy that. And I'm like, what is this and that?
And you're like, do I?
Yeah. And now I know what a bobbin is. Whereas, you know the song, Wind the Bobbin Up? Never actually knew what
Initially,
it
you're like, what?
But I don't know about the printing side of it for you.
Yeah,
obviously having jazz as well.
Yeah, I think because it's sort of like it's trying to compromise on depending what work's coming in. Because where Jazz is at home and we're at home, it's like, how much embroidery is coming? And that's why I've got my little project management board and stuff like that. So we know what deadlines of these embroidery, deadlines of the printing. So that's why, okay, I love the baby. I've been at home, and then she can go into the garage and get the embroidery done.
Tag team and swap in and out.
And then we'll switch over and stuff. But
how lovely that you've been able to do that, because even though it's been a challenge, you've spent the first 2 years of your daughter's lives with her.
We're so lucky. Even though it's been hard and it's been a struggle, I wouldn't have changed it. I wouldn't have liked to have gone off to 9 to 5 and left her with someone.
Exactly.
So we've been really lucky in that respect.
Yeah, and we've seen all the milestones. Obviously, I've seen more milestones with Jazz than I did with Cart, because I was still sort of working then and stuff. But with Jazz, like obviously her first steps and bits and pieces like that. So even though you're working like 18, 19 hour days, and when the kids are in bed, you're back into the garage and you're working, the moments that you see, and like the walk-in and the talking and the first words, that's what makes it all worth it.
There's pros and cons to everything, isn't there? It's just about what you want to prioritise and what you want to get out of it. Some people probably would, I don't know, find it more important to go to work and have that sort of secure, if you like, employment job. Like, it's a risk being self-employed.
100%.
But it's a risk that's clearly paid off for you guys.
And don't get me wrong, we've thought about it and think, it'd be nice on a Friday, shut the laptop at 5 o'clock and that's it. But my brain is not wired like that.
You say that though, even when you are in a 9 to 5, and I think I can speak for both of us when I say this, that we shut the laptop at 5:30 on a Friday, but over the weekend we'll text each other and go, oh, what about this? Have you thought about that? And if you have that kind of mindset and your brain works like that, you just never fully switch off. It might be easier for us to be like, okay, write it down, think about it on Monday. Whereas with you, you're like, I have to action it like as soon as possible kind of thing. But I can imagine that's tough.
And to be fair, we've got a good support network with our families helping out. So when we've got big jobs come in, we've always had someone on hand to watch Jazz. Obviously, Cart's at school, but even if we're doing quite a bit of things, we've got people that can pick him up and stuff like that. So I think if you've got a good support network behind you, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is good.
So what's next for Gemz Threadz then? Big question. You've got a big year ahead of you. Big rest of 2025, heading into 2026. Other than obviously moving into your new bigger unit, what's the plan? Well,
we're always already teed up the next bigger unit. So quite ambitious. But I think for us, we're getting into sponsorship now. So I want to sponsor a lot of football teams, local football teams. events, really get our name out there. Now we've got the unit and we've secured the unit. It'll be obviously taken on staff and going through that recruitment process and hopefully find some people that we can sort of take on the journey.
We can trust as well.
Yeah, and that's
when it's a family business, that's, it's a big
They
part
need
of
to
it.
come into the family and be part of the family, don't they?
Yeah. You want someone that cares, don't you?
Definitely. And I don't think you'll ever find someone that cares about your business as much as the business owners do, but there's people out there that I think you can really sort of take on the journey and they can see the vision and stuff. And like I say, we ain't got egos. We want people to come in that know more than us.
Yeah.
Because then they can take the business forward while we're sort of hopefully bringing in the...
Ideally someone that knows what a bobbin is initially would be good.
Yeah, that would be one of the interview questions.
Yeah. Tell me about embroidery.
And they will get tested in terms of can they do some prints before they get let loose on the fusion.
Well, the good news,
you've got to qualify 100%.
You say that though, you can lock that machine at manager level. So even if you do get someone in, you can just set the settings.
And they can't change it.
So they physically can't cheat. And it's got obviously the reporting on it as well. So you can physically see, even if, because I know with that one, obviously the auto open, it locks and it pops open when it's done. That one you physically lift it. So they could technically lift it before the time's up. But the reporting system on it would tell you if they're lifting it up at 8 seconds instead of 10.
Oh, really?
So you can be like, well, if those transfers are peeling off, you've missed 2 seconds on the fuse time. So no one's going to be able to escape.
I'm going to write that down.
That's it.
Any Fusion IQ machine has all that software. So
I never knew that.
Swing and draw Fusion, your 360 and the ProPass, they're all the same.
On him then.
Spreadsheets are pre-done for you. You don't have to make them. They're all on the system.
I'm going to...
Yeah.
We'll do that on your review.
Access to the Fusion.
On your review.
I need to
How hard has John been working this month?
That's it.
See how many presses you've done.
That's it.
Yeah, when he says he's working and you're with Jazz, you'll be like, what have you been doing?
Down doing nothing.
Just chilling.
Also, you want to open up in...
I've got ambitions to open not just my separate company, but even this company as well, to open potentially in Dubai. It's always been a goal to open a business abroad.
And Cyprus is an option as well.
Cyprus, we've got a lot of history in Cyprus.
You could do both eventually.
Exactly. We got married in Cyprus, got engaged in Cyprus and stuff, so we've got a lot of history there.
You can retire in Cyprus.
That's the plan.
That'd be a great ending to the story, wouldn't it?
And get to the point where, as a family, we can just go travelling. Go travelling around. We go to Dubai for a little while, go to Cyprus and different other countries. So, build it in the UK first and get all the learnings from that.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, the thing is with the businesses you've mentioned, like you say, your PTing you can do online, your digital marketing you can do online. The printing, providing you have good staff, you can manage it from online. So
because
that is the dream, isn't it?
At the moment. But eventually we'd like to take it all.
It's getting a good manager, isn't it? You need a good manager that can run it, that, maybe has young kids and wants to stay put for a while. So once yours get bigger, it's all, life changes so much, doesn't it? And I think as long as it works for you guys, and that's the luxury of having your own business, is you can build it to be what you want it to be, which is super exciting. Random question before we end the podcast. What's one thing in your workspace you couldn't live without?
Me, I think, when I sold it for me, but I didn't. It's a ruler.
A ruler?
A ruler. Yeah, because I'm I see a lot of people, they just put things on, chuck things onto the heat press and stuff like that, and I'm very...
You've got a ruler? You haven't got a ruler.
So I think...
Probably should have a ruler.
You probably should.
But I think when I'm sort of doing mass production, and you only need to do it a couple of times just to get the measurements right, and I'm quite OCD when it comes to I want to make sure it's proper centered, because I know it only takes one top to be off and this and the other, and they don't do a good job. So I like to measure things, and then I write it down, and then I know, right, okay, I straight into my Trello where it's all written down.
Oh, I love a Trello board.
From that.
I love a Trello.
Stole my ruler. It's my ruler, and now he calls it his ruler.
Gemma, would you like me to give you a ruler before you leave?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll get Gemma a ruler before she leaves, because we have got some. We'll give you some.
I bought you some scissors.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
So romantic.
Exactly, yeah. So
because again, he stole my
scissors. Wait, hang on. Didn't you buy him a platen for his, or did you buy yourself
that was your
one?
Mum and Dad.
My mum and dad,
Oh, okay, yeah.
They
I remember that story.
Because they said,
there's your, what is it? A steel board.
Yeah, because they said, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like...
Can I have a platen, please?
Oh, yeah, I love saying
the credit code for Styles, please.
What is that? Yeah.
Exactly. So I said, here's a link. can get a few things. So I think I got the platinum, the little one, and then the bigger
and the
one.
slip-on.
Tell me
for
they
the
wrapped it
tucks.
up.
Yeah, they wrapped it
they
up in the
did
box.
it.
Yeah. They just didn't hand it over because they're probably confused. What the hell is this?
Piece of metal,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Quite
Piece of
heavy as
metal,
well,
yeah.
isn't it?
So that's how exciting our birthdays get when we're
Yeah.
buying sort of accessories
brilliant.
for
That's
the business. Because
You're gonna get a ruler for your 40th. I'm going to...
no, but it is like
Yeah.
I adopted
John's ruler.
John's nearly 40, just to put that out there.
I'm sure he wanted everyone on the podcast to know that, but I'm not cutting that out.
He looks good, didn't he? that was my point.
I'm not 40 yet though. I like some people.
No.
Oh, okay,
No,
right.
that's it.
So you can't live without a ruler. What's something you can't live without? Gem?
My scissors.
Okay.
I've got literally about 20 pairs, but they're all different, and he uses them for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I've got some for fabrics.
paper,
Yes, because you blunt them, don't you? Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
The curved ones I want.
Yeah, so he was
Yeah.
cutting a thing the other day, and he was cutting. I was like, "Why? Turn the scissors round." He went, "Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah."
As right, so you need some scissors. Okay,
He needs
noted.
scissors,
All right.
yeah, ruler and scissors.
Yeah.
Ruler and scissors.
To get some
right?
IKEA ones, it'd be
Yeah,
fine. Doesn't
yeah.
they don't need to be that precise.
Yeah. And
Little
headphones.
Oh
5-pack.
yeah, headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Do
listen.
you okay? So another question
Yeah.
then: what do you listen to when you're printing? Are you Spotify people? Are you podcasts? What's
So
the
Luana. I like something that I don't need to listen to properly,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
And you're totally.
I'm more,
opposite.
I'm totally opposite. I listen to a lot of business. Obviously, when you release a podcast, that's straight on there.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Are you going to
Um,
listen to your own?
Absolutely.
No, absolutely not. No, definitely not. No.
Of course.
He'll try and make me, but no. I still haven't
Just
watched
put it-
back my speech from my wedding.
Oh, really?
No, it was
You
11
made a
years
speech at
ago.
your own
I
wedding?
did a little
Okay.
like, thank
You should
whatever.
just get a speaker and just put it on in the new
Yeah.
unit, and then you won't have a choice.
Jazzy be
yeah.
walking around going, "Mama, Dada."
yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it's I listen to a lot of business podcasts and stuff like that because I'm always thinking of how can we take it to the next level? And I listen to a lot of business, a lot of sort of like autobiographies from people like Richard Branson.
I know what you
and
mean,
stuff
yeah,
like
the same
that.
kind of vibe.
And I'm currently listening to like the James Sinclair podcast where he has business owners on and he goes through their challenges and a lot of it can relate to what we're doing as well.
Yeah.
And how to get to the next level and what we need. Because
There is so much out there. If you
Yeah.
want to be successful, there's so much you can teach yourself.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have, like, some people, for example, might not have the time to listen to a whole audiobook. Like, I love going for like long walks and listening for hours.
Yeah.
like you're printing for hours, you're listening to
Yeah.
it. But if you don't have that time, like, chuck it in ChatGPT and ask for a summary and like take the key points from it. You don't have to spend hours listening to it, especially if you're just starting out in printing,
and
stuff
that's
like
what
that.
you're listening to it for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's
Really
a
good
lot.
idea,
There's a
actually.
lot
And
that
there's
you guys
things
can do.
that sort of it sets in your like subconscious mind. So even though you're sort of printing and you're concentrating on that, you still listen to that background because then when you do level up in your business, you actually think, that's
I remember listening to that.
relatable.
Yeah.
Like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I listen to that every year because every year
I love that book.
we're in
Such a good book.
a different space.
Yeah.
So then stuff that didn't really mean anything at that time, a year later, now we're in that space.
You forget the
Yes.
stuff that's not relevant at that time as well,
Exactly,
don't you?
yeah.
Like, if something's
Definitely.
relevant, you pick up on it and you're like, oh, I'll implement that. But then
Yeah.
all the other stuff, you're like, oh, no. And it
Just leave that 'cause
disappears.
You're not quite there yet, and then you listen to it again, and then you're like,
I think the statistic was people read, don't quote me on this, but it was something along the lines of like 10 or 20% of a book people actually remember reading, and the rest of it you don't. And I mean, there's
That's why
a
you can
lot
read
of
things over and
information.
over again, yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. I think we've covered a lot in today's episode.
We
It's been a
have.
very long conversation. I've really enjoyed having you guys on. So thank you for
thanks
coming
for
in.
having
If people watching this want to get in touch with you and learn more about your business, where can they find you
so
online?
the socials, all over socials. Obviously our website, Gemz Threadz, that's spelt with a Z instead of an S.
Mm-hmm.
So Gemz with a Z, Threadz with a Z. We just rebranded our logo, so a little new look and feel, but all across the social media. And feel free to obviously reach out to us because we'll sort of help, even if it's to do mock-ups. And that's what we like to do for people as well, is that they ain't, instead of putting a bulk order in and not seeing what it looks like, we'll always do mock-ups. But all across the socials and email and website.
Thank you very much for coming on today,
Thank
guys.
you.
I wish you the best of luck in everything that
you.
you've got for the
Thank
next
you.
couple of years. And if you guys liked this episode, enjoyed listening, then please don't forget to like and subscribe, because we'll be back next week with another episode.